Imagine looking at your palm and noticing a special marking, almost like a hidden signature written there for you alone. Some people call it the M symbol. It's not just a curious pattern of lines. Many traditions and practitioners of palmistry view it as a sign with real meaning, linked to destiny, strengths, challenges, and the life path you might walk. Before we explore what it could suggest for you, if you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing or following along. This helps us share more life-enriching insights. Now, let's turn our attention back to that mysterious M on your hand and see what it might be telling you. Spotting the M in your palm. First, find a quiet moment to examine your hands. Relax them. Hold them palm up in soft light. You aren't looking for a superficial doodle, but the natural lines embossed in your skin, the lifeline curving around the base of your thumb, the mind line running across the center, the heart line beneath the fingers, and sometimes a fate or luck line rising upward. When these lines intersect or align in a certain way, they can form an M-like shape. Sometimes it's bold and clear, other times it's faint, as if whispering rather than declaring itself. It doesn't matter who you are or which hand is dominant. Instead, traditions often assign more weight to the hand on which the marking appears. For many, the right hand is considered more active or outward-facing, and the left more inward or reflective, although beliefs vary. So, notice, on which hand does this M show up? That simple observation can frame how you interpret its guidance. But beyond left or right, focus on how the lines converge. Is the lifeline strong and unbroken? Does the mind line cut across clearly? Does the heart line curve with balance? And does a subtle fate line join the intersection? Together, these create the shape, and each line brings its own flavor to the story. What the M might indicate. When that formation appears, many palmistry traditions suggest a few broad themes. One is potential for success or accomplishment, a life where talents, opportunities, and inner qualities align in such a way that doors open. Another theme relates to inner strength, a resilience or resourcefulness that helps you navigate setbacks. At the same time, the M can hint at challenges to be aware of, areas where you might need extra attention or effort to avoid self-sabotage. Think of it like a map drawn on your hand. It does not guarantee a fixed future, but it points to tendencies or gifts you may carry. For example, a well-defined lifeline often suggests vitality and a capacity for endurance. A clear mind line may indicate quick thinking or mental agility. A balanced heart line speaks to emotional insight and the ability to connect with others. When a fate line weaves in, some read it as signifying opportunities arising from effort or external circumstances. When these lines align into an M, the interpretation is that your health, intellect, heart, and fortune have the potential to come together harmoniously, if you cultivate them. Yet it isn't a simplistic "you will be rich" prophecy. Rather, it highlights a pattern. You might have resources, inner or outer, that align in a supportive way if you remain conscious. For instance, you might find that ideas flow easily to you at certain times, or that people respond positively to your perspective. You might sense a confidence or calm under pressure that others envy. Recognizing these patterns can help you lean into them, making choices that amplify your strengths. Balancing strengths and pitfalls. Every symbol in palmistry carries two sides. Alongside the promise of potential, the M marking can hint at pitfalls you may need to watch for. A common theme is the tendency toward procrastination or complacency. When opportunities present themselves, someone with that pattern might hesitate, thinking, "It will always be there," or "I'll start tomorrow." Another possible tendency is impatience. Once focus sharpens, you may push forward so intensely that you burn out or overlook details. And sometimes, the same empathy or politeness that draws people toward you could lead you to overextend yourself or avoid difficult conversations. Awareness is the key. If you recognize that you sometimes delay important tasks, treat that insight as a gentle reminder. Your hand's markings show potential, but only action unlocks it. If you notice you can be extremely driven once focused, practice pacing yourself. If you see in yourself a deep compassion, Honor it by setting healthy boundaries. In short, use the insight as a mirror. It reveals gifts and traps alike. When you stay alert to these tendencies, you can channel your natural energy constructively rather than letting it drift or cause burnout. Cultivating focus and follow-through. Because the M is often linked to a life path where success or recognition is possible, the practical question becomes how to cultivate the habits that transform potential into achievement. A starting point is simple daily routines that build consistency. If you notice a creative idea or a project that matters, break it into small steps and set gentle deadlines. Today, I will outline the first section, or this week I commit to researching one key aspect. This counters the inertia that sometimes lurks. When momentum builds, reward yourself with short breaks or small celebrations. This reinforces forward movement. Another helpful approach is to keep a journal or digital note where you track progress and reflect on what works. The M symbol can serve as a reminder. Jot down each evening how you used your strengths and where distractions crept in. Over time, patterns emerge. You might learn that you do deep work best in the morning, or that quick check-ins with supportive peers keep you accountable. Use these learnings to adjust your schedule and environment. Perhaps designate a quiet workspace for focused sessions, or schedule brief check-ins with an accountability partner. Since impatience can push you to rush, remind yourself that sustainable progress often beats frantic bursts. If you feel a surge of energy and push too hard, schedule restorative practices, walks, simple breathing exercises, or mindful pauses to balance intensity with rest. This nurtures resilience, ensuring you don't burn out when trying to manifest the promise hinted by your palm lines. Embracing inner strength and compassion. Beyond tasks and goals, the M symbol may highlight qualities like empathy, discernment, and an ability to read nuance in relationships. You might find yourself drawn to helping others or mediating conflicts. These gifts can be powerful when guided by self-awareness. For instance, if a friend or colleague faces a challenge, your natural empathy allows you to listen deeply and offer support. Yet be mindful not to take on more than you can handle, or to solve someone else's problems at the expense of your own well-being. A practical strategy is to balance giving with self-care. When you help, set gentle boundaries. I'm here to listen and share what I can, but I also need time to recharge. Communicate kindly but firmly when you need space. Recognize that helping others and preserving your own energy are not in conflict. Rather, they reinforce each other. When you honor your limits, you remain present and effective in providing support, reflecting the balanced heartline energy implied by the M formation. Navigating external opportunities. The fate or luck line element of the M hints at doors opening through effort or circumstance. You may notice that certain chances appear unexpectedly. A job lead, a creative collaboration, or a learning opportunity that arrives at the right time. When these arise, pause to consider. Does this align with my deeper interests or skills? Does it feel like a genuine step forward? Use your mind-line strength, mental clarity, to evaluate logically, and your heart-line sensitivity, emotional wisdom, to sense if it resonates. If both align, seize it decisively. If doubts surface, take the time to investigate further rather than ignoring uneasy feelings. Sometimes doors open that seem enticing but require discernment. Perhaps an offer looks lucrative but conflicts with your values or long-term vision. Your awareness of potential pitfalls, procrastination, impatience, can guide you. If you feel rushed by external pressure, pause and clarify your priorities. If you tend to linger too long over decisions, set a reasonable time frame for research so you don't miss genuine opportunities. This balanced use of judgment and intuition is exactly the kind of harmony the M marking suggests you can achieve. Health, vitality, and longevity. A well-defined lifeline in palmistry often points to physical vitality and resilience. While these interpretations aren't medical diagnoses, they remind you to pay attention to body-mind health. Listen to your body's signals, rest when needed, nourish yourself with wholesome foods, and keep moving in ways you enjoy. Sometimes people with a strong lifeline overlook subtle fatigue, thinking they can push through. Remember that sustainable energy arises from balance, work, rest, nutrition, and mental calm. In practice, simple habits like consistent sleep routines, brief daily exercises or stretches, and mindful breathing can support longevity and well-being. Because the M suggests potential for a full, active life, honor that by making small but steady commitments to self-care. When you feel drawn into intense focus, schedule short breaks to stretch or hydrate. When stress builds, pause to breathe and recenter. Over months and years, these habits accumulate into resilience, helping you live a life aligned with the promise in your palm line. Inner belief and self-knowledge. One striking theme often mentioned alongside the M is unshakable faith in one's abilities. Not arrogance, but a grounded confidence that daily effort matters. Cultivating this belief starts with self-knowledge. Reflect on past achievements, times when you overcame hurdles, learned quickly, or supported others effectively. Write these down. When doubts arise, revisit the list. Let it remind you of inner resources you've already used successfully. At the same time, remain open to growth. A confident mindset includes acknowledging where you have room to learn. If you spot gaps in skills or knowledge needed for your goals, approach them with curiosity. Seek mentors, take courses, or practice deliberately. This blend of faith in your capacity and willingness to develop further resonates with the balanced interplay implied by the M, mind, heart, and life circumstances working together. Stories and anecdotes, illustrative insight. You might hear stories of entrepreneurs, artists, or leaders who, upon learning they have the M marking, found it meaningful. For instance, someone may share how they encountered a string of coincidences, serendipitous meetings, or timely insights that propelled a project forward. Reflecting back, they realized these moments aligned with their natural strengths: clear thinking, empathy, and resilience. But crucially, they didn't rely on fate alone. They recognized the pattern and committed to consistent action. Another anecdote. A person might recall feeling stuck until they learned about this palm marking. That insight sparked a shift. They started paying attention to opportunities instead of dismissing them or delaying action. Over time, small steps, networking conversations, daily practice of a craft, mindful self-check-ins accumulated into noticeable progress. The M pattern itself didn't do the work, but awareness of it motivated conscious choices. These examples aren't formulas guaranteeing a certain outcome. They illustrate how awareness can launch a process, noticing strengths and tendencies, then using that knowledge in everyday decisions. Your life story is unique. These tales serve simply to show how noticing patterns can spark transformation. Putting it into practice. How can you bring this awareness into your daily life? Here are a few gentle suggestions integrated into routines rather than rigid steps. Mindful mornings. As you start the day, take a moment to look at your palm. Reflect. Today, I honor my strengths and watch for pitfalls. This brief pause sets an intention to use your energy wisely. Goal check-ins. Once a week, review your main priorities. Are you taking action on what matters most? If you notice delays, ask, what small next step can I take right now? Keep it simple. Decide on one small action and schedule it. Balance work and rest. When immersed in a project, be aware of signs of fatigue. Use short breaks. Stand up, stretch, breathe. This prevents burnout and keeps your mind sharp. Cultivate curiosity. If an unexpected opportunity appears, an invitation, a new idea, a learning chance, take a moment to research or reflect, rather than dismissing or diving in recklessly. Use both rational analysis and gut feeling to decide. Compassionate boundaries. When helping others, notice if you feel drained or overcommitted. Practice saying kindly, I'm happy to support you, but need to rest after this time. This preserves your energy and sustains your ability to give. Celebrate progress. Acknowledge small wins, completing a task, learning something new, handling a challenge with composure. Celebrations reinforce momentum and build confidence over time. Regular reflection. Keep a journal note or voice memo about patterns you observe. Times when decisions flowed easily, moments you felt stuck, how relationships responded. Over weeks, patterns emerge, guiding adjustments. These practices don't require major life changes. They weave into daily life, helping you harness the energy the M marking suggests you carry. Over time, this conscious approach can turn potential into tangible results. Overcoming common hurdles. Even with awareness, obstacles arise. You might encounter a phase of doubt. Maybe this palmistry idea is just superstition. In such moments, treat the M symbol as a prompt for self-reflection, rather than an assertion of fate. Ask, am I aware of strengths or challenges now? How can I act on them, regardless of belief in symbols? This reframes the exercise as practical psychology, using metaphorical guidance to bolster self-awareness. Another hurdle is distraction. Life's demands, work, relationships, obligations, can pull attention away from personal goals. Use simple tools, set short daily priorities, use timers for focused work blocks, or share your aims with a supportive friend who can check in. This counters drifting and aligns you with the promise of the M shape. Impatience sometimes pushes you toward quick fixes or rushing projects. When that urge arises, pause and recall that lasting achievements often require steady effort. Break tasks into manageable pieces and schedule them realistically. If frustration builds, step away briefly, take a walk or do something creative to reset perspective. Cultivating gratitude and purpose. The M marking is often described as an invitation to a purposeful life. Beyond pursuing success or recognition, it can hint at a deeper calling, perhaps guiding others, creating work that matters, or contributing in ways aligned with your values. To tap this, cultivate gratitude. Regularly note what you appreciate, skills you have, supportive people in your life, lessons learned from past struggles. Gratitude shifts perspective, helping you see resources and possibilities rather than obstacles. Purpose can emerge from reflecting on what energizes you and what serves others. If you enjoy problem-solving and empathy, perhaps a role supporting people through challenges fits you. If you love creativity and analysis, maybe a project combining both captures your interest. Use small experiments, volunteer in a field of interest, take a short course, or start a side project. Observe what feels alive versus draining. These clues build toward a purpose aligned with the strengths the M hints at. A note on individual paths. No two hands are identical, and no two life journeys are the same. Even if you share the M formation with others, the expression will be unique, shaped by your experiences, choices, culture, and context. The point isn't to compare your journey with someone else's, but to use the marking as a personalized reminder. You have a mix of qualities, mind, heart, energy patterns, that can support a meaningful path when tended consciously. If you don't see the M clearly, that's fine too. Palmistry is one of many lenses for self-reflection. Whether or not you find a distinct M shape, the ideas here, awareness of strengths, mindful action, balancing work and rest, compassionate boundaries and purposeful living, remain useful. The marking simply offers a tangible prompt to explore these themes. Invitation to share and reflect. If you do notice the M symbol, you might feel curious about others' experiences. Share your story, a friend noticing the marking, or a moment when awareness of this idea inspired action. Sometimes hearing how someone turned a small insight into meaningful change can spark ideas in our own lives. Yet remember, every story is an example, not a rule. Use what resonates and leave what doesn't. Even if you don't see the marking, you can still benefit by exploring what strengths and challenges you observe in yourself. Ask, what patterns repeat in my decisions? Where do I feel most alive? Where do I tend to stall? These questions guide you toward the same kind of self-awareness the M marking symbolizes for many. Closing encouragement. In the end, the lines on your palm don't lock you into a predetermined fate. Instead, think of them as an invitation to look inward, to notice your capacities and tendencies, and to choose how to channel them. That little M shape, if present, can be a reminder that you carry a blend of vitality, intelligence, empathy, and opportunity potential. Yet it's up to you to nurture these qualities, to move beyond hesitation, pace yourself, and stay open to growth. Trust that even small steps, repeated consistently, create real momentum. When you combine clear thinking with heartfelt purpose, supported by steady habits and mindful rest, you align with the promise suggested by your palm's pattern. Over time, this alignment can feel like you're living in sync with a deeper current, making decisions that resonate and actions that build toward your vision. So whenever you glance at your palm and see that M, bold or subtle, let it remind you, you have gifts meant to be shared and a path to walk that matters. Commit today to one small act reflecting your potential, a focused task, a moment of self-care, a conversation that matters, or a step toward learning something new. Each choice affirms that you're the author of your journey. The map in your hand shows possibilities. You bring it to life through intention and effort. Thank you for spending this time exploring the meaning and implications of the M symbol. If you found this helpful, please consider subscribing, sharing with people who might appreciate it, or simply carrying these ideas forward in your daily life. May your journey be guided by clear insight, compassionate action, and the belief that you can shape your destiny one mindful step at a time. Take a moment now to look at your palm with fresh eyes. What might it inspire you to do next?